Hi, everyone, and welcome to the 12th episode of All of Our Appearances Have Been Canceled, the Not So Pageanty Pageant Interview Show. I'm your host, Marilisa Beatty. I am Mrs. Pennsylvania America 2020. And that's the first time I've actually been able to say that on this show, so I'm kind of freaking out. So bear with me, guys. I'm here with Jessica Mohn. She is currently Ms. Keystone State 2021 and the former 2019 National Sweetheart American Woman of Service. Jessica, it's a mouthful. That's a long title.
It is.
Jessica, how are you today?
I am grand. How are you, honey?
I'm well. Thank you so much for joining. So, Jessica, we kind of happened to meet over social media, right? Basically, because
Yep.
we have pageant friends in common. So I'm happy to have you on the show. I know this has kind of been a long time coming. So if you've seen the show before, you probably know I'm now going to give you a few minutes to talk about yourself, and then I'll fill you in on all the fun categories we'll cover. So Jessica, why don't you take it away?
Awesome. Thank you for having me again. And so state title holder, this is a new one for like the past year I've been a national. And it was great. So I'm now like trying to reconfigure my goals.
Mm-hmm.
Um, as a national, I was able, in the middle of COVID, I was able to visit over 20 states by myself and with family and serve in those 20 states. Drove about a little over 6,000 miles. I honestly stopped keeping track of my volunteer hours because I was like, in the middle of COVID, I was like, you know what? Miles is awesome because I was able to still travel.
Yeah.
And it was a great year, and I'm excited to now focus in on just PA for at least a year.
Mm-hmm.
And now I've got my goal of hitting and serving in every one of the 67 counties in PA because we're a big one.
Yes, yes, that's awesome. Well, thank you for all the work that you do. Um, why don't we just jump right into it? Because it's Friday. We've all got places to be. So let me run down the categories for you quickly. So we'll start with a category I call pageanty things. And these are just things about the world of pageantry. Next, we go to a category called Hey You. And these are just, about you and your life and your opinions. Next, we have the category called Brian Wants to Know. And Brian's my husband. And since I do Mrs. Pageants, I want to make sure my Mr. gets involved here. Next, we have just one question in the category called Just Silliness. And typically, this is just the weirdest question I can think of at the time. And we'll close with a quick fire round. And I change that for every guest I have on the show. So I'll tell you about that when we get there, okay?
Sounds great.
All right, Jessica. Since you are an accomplished and seasoned woman in pageantry and you are a national title holder, I'm going to ask you harder questions than
Oh,
normal.
great. Whew,
Prepare yourself. Okay.
trying.
What do you think all successful pageant women have in common?
I think the most thing we'd have in common is being goal driven and just open.
Mm-hmm.
Um, we're setting setting our standards higher, of course. Uh, when we have a purpose, we go for it, and nothing holds us back. But
Mm-hmm.
if we're also open with each other, it makes everything so much simpler. In the last year, I lost my mom,
I'm so
and
sorry.
having the sisterhood and being open to expressing
Mm-hmm.
my roller coaster of emotions, it's made my year. I don't want to say that part's made my year better, but having the sisterhood and just being involved in pageants in general has made my life better.
Yeah, yeah. And I have to agree with the openness part because my first pageant I competed in was last year in Colorado. And one thing I did not do was I wasn't open. I didn't make myself vulnerable with the judges or with people in general. And lo and behold, I didn't place. What a shock. And this year, when I came into the Mrs. Pennsylvania pageant, I just wanted to leave it all on the table, not hold back. And I have opened myself, and it has been hard. But honestly, what I've gotten in return is so much more than I've even put out there. So yeah, if you make yourself open to people, you will get so much back. So excellent point. All right, here's your next question. Um, so I made a gown appointment the other day for nationals, and I called to make my appointment, and the woman on the phone says, "Well, what pageant are you shopping for?" And I said, "The Mrs. America pageant." And it was, I guess, the first time I said it out loud, so I kind of freaked out and I was like crying. Just because I still can't believe it. And I remember watching the Mrs. America pageant on TV with my mom when I was little,
Mm-hmm.
and never in my life did I think I would be one of the women on the stage. So I feel like I'm confident in my plan for the year. I'm confident that I can be Mrs. Pennsylvania, but I occasionally, since it's so new, feel that imposter syndrome, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
me, I'm Mrs. Pennsylvania. Who would do that? So,
Right.
being an experienced pageant woman, what advice would you give to title holders, especially newer title holders, who might get those moments of imposter syndrome?
It's the same thing as be open and be vulnerable and believe in yourself. Like, don't doubt yourself. I mean, we're all going to have moments of doubt. We are. Like, as a national, I was like, God, this is too much. I'm not doing enough. I'm not getting in the hours I need to. And I'm like, wait, like, I'm busting my butt here.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that if I put the heart into it, that's what matters, and I can still do it. So just, yeah, lay your heart out on the line. And like you said, you didn't, you weren't open in the first interview you had. But when you do open up like that and they do see who you are, like, that's what they care about.
Mm. That's really good
So
advice.
don't
Yeah,
hold back.
great advice. Great advice. Okay, so the third question is always my favorite, because I call this my favorite picture of you. And that's when I stalk your social media and I find my favorite picture of you.
Oh, God.
And so I'm going to
Look at
show you
that.
the picture, but the question really is, what was going on in this picture and how are you feeling? Just kind of tell us all about it. So hopefully you can see it, but this is what I chose.
Oh, yeah.
So what's going on here, Jess?
So, I had an untraditional crowning, and my husband's like, "You didn't look as thrilled," and I was like, "Well, I knew it was coming." So we had our national pageant last year in Massachusetts,
Mhm.
and I got a call the next day saying, "Hey, we were debating doing this category next year, but because of my involvement and whatnot, they're like, we want you to take it over this year,
Mm.
so we have a crowning next year. You still like win your national title, whatnot, but you have to be in Maine in 2 weeks. So you just drove 7.5 hours to get to Massachusetts. Now can you drive 9.5 hours? So my husband's like, do you really want to do it? I'm like, I, I'm not turning this down. This is the opportunity of a lifetime. So we drove to Maine overnight and changed in a high school bathroom, high school locker room, and my hair was slept on, and I was like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna be like a hot mess. And I got up on stage, and I still got crowned and
Oh.
whatnot. But it was awesome. I got to get crowned by my national sisterhood. So
Mhm.
not someone giving up their title, but by my new national sisters.
That's awesome.
And that was Chan. That was our national missus last year that I got to spend the year serving with.
That's
So
great.
it was, oh my gosh, it was phenomenal. And then so it was another chance to join in on my sisterhood, and we got to be a part of the UNM Maine State pageant. And it was, so much fun. And it was another chance to wear my evening gown, which most
Mhm.
people wear once. So I was like, yes, I get to wear this again.
There
It's
you
never
go.
happened.
There you go. How long have you been in pageantry in general?
Um, 2018 was my first one. I did the Mrs. PA for America.
Oh,
Um, yeah. And I was Mrs. Schuylkill County.
mm-hmm.
And I just said to my husband one day in January, I was like, I've always wanted to do pageants. and I found out that there's a Mrs. And he's like,
Mhm.
wait, what? Like, don't they just go to Miss America and be done? And I'm like, no, I didn't know that either. I saw a girl in Texas who was going out for the Mrs. Texas, and I was like, she's doing Mrs. I
Yeah.
want to do it. He goes, yeah, go ahead. Why not? Try it out.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay.
It's
So
life
yeah,
change.
yeah, it is. And the Mrs. PA America was my first experience. I was who rocked it, and I was like, oh god, I have no clue what I'm gonna do when I get up on stage. But and I wasn't confident in a bit, and I was like not anywhere near, and I not now swimsuit shape. So I got on with these women who were like in the top shape of their life, and I'm like, I don't know, but I looked dang good in the swimsuit I picked out. And
Yeah.
the one comment afterwards, they're like, Jess, you look at your confidence in swimsuit. And I'm like, but I didn't look good in it. And they're like, no, but it was your confidence in the
Yeah.
swimsuit that mattered. I'm like, that's what this is about? Like actually being confident in your own skin? They're like,
Yeah.
yeah. And I'm like, okay, then I can do this. Then
Yeah.
I can do this.
That's absolutely what it's about. Just how are you presenting yourself? Do you feel comfortable in your own skin? You know, are you putting out that light that lets everyone know that you are sure of yourself and you know what you're doing? And I feel like that inspires so many other women. I feel so much more inspired by a woman who's out there owning it and feeling confident than I am necessarily by somebody with a perfect body. Like, I'm never going to have a
Mm-hmm.
perfect body. What does that do for
Mm-hmm.
me? But
Yeah,
if
exactly.
you know you're putting your light out there, that's what it's all about. So excellent. All right, Jessica. So you passed the first phase of pageanty things. That I think the questions maybe get easier from here, or maybe not. I don't know. You can tell me. So we're in the Hey You category. So this is just all about you. So let's assume for some reason you had to have an actor or actress narrate your life. Who would you want your narrator to be?
Oh, that's terrifying. You know what? It was Cameron Diaz from The Sweetest Thing, and I don't know. I think I'm probably Cameron Diaz.
I would love that.
But I don't know. I love her in The Sweetest Thing, and in oh, what is it? The Holiday,
Mm-hmm.
and
That's really cute.
she literally narrates her own story as it's coming on, or she has a narrator for her story, and I'm like, that's what sticks in my head.
Yeah, I could see that. I feel like I'd want somebody with an accent. Maybe like a Liam
Ooh.
Neeson, or
Oh,
I just want to hear some like nice accent the whole time. So I feel like I
Gerard
would do
Butler.
things just to hear him talk about it.
Yeah, no, Gerard. But if we're going with that,
Yes.
then it would be Gerard Butler because that act makes you melt
Yes.
every time.
Very good accent. Very good accent. All right. Oh, maybe related. What movie could you watch over and over again?
Oh God, there's too many. I think I've already seen all of the Harry Potter movies, probably like 60 times each. Especially having little kids, I've too many times. That in Jurassic Park, but prob I don't know. I'm trying to think of what my husband and my favorite movie, Hot Tub Time Machine.
Mm,
Whether it may not, it's definitely not a pageanty movie, and it's
no.
definitely not a kids movie. But anytime my husband and I are bored, we're like, "What movie do you want to show?" I'm like, "Let's do it." Hot
Yeah.
Tub Time Machine.
It is a good one. And it's so creative. It's such a
It
good
is.
concept.
Yep.
Love it. Okay. Let's see here. Hmm. What elements of pop culture will you always tie in your mind with your childhood or your teenage years?
Nice girls. That's the only pop culture I can even think of. Like when
Hmm.
with my kid childhood or Nickelodeon. Oh my
Yeah.
god.
Is that
Girl,
still a
ne-
thing? I guess it is.
no, yeah, but it's not as fun as it used to be.
Oh.
Like I feel like it's more game showy.
Hmm. I mean, I wouldn't know. We don't have cable, so.
And I no longer like it. Yeah, I don't either. So Disney, I don't know. They're so terrible them all at the same time.
Okay. All right. So now we're going into the category called Brian Wants to Know. So this came from my husband. I have no control over this. He asks, if the moon is made out of cheese, what is Mars made out of?
Candy, like
Yeah,
Mars candy,
Mars candy. I would think so too.
chocolate, chocolate all the way.
That would be delicious. I would love a planet made out of chocolate.
Hey, I'm okay with the moon made out of cheese. I love cheese.
True though, true. I'd probably more so eat the moon if it were
Yes,
cheese than I would eat
then
Mars if it were
chocolate.
chocolate. I love cheese.
Yep. Hmm.
Okay. Okay. So this is the just silliness question. Um, if you had to get a face tattoo, what would you get?
I'm not sure. Maybe a crown right here. So I
Oh yeah,
always am wearing
there
a
you go.
crown. Or something like sparkly. Like let's go with something sparkly and pretty. So at least if you're gonna see it every day, it's cute.
I love the idea of just a crown across the forehead, like queen all the time.
Or we could do like some flowers, so it always looks like a flower headband, like my little hippie child coming out.
Okay, okay, that's a good one. All right, so you've made it through. So we're on to the last category. And in honor of the new school year starting, I'm bringing back a category I used before, and it's celebrity superlatives. So if we imagine that all of Hollywood is the graduating class of 2020 and you're on the yearbook committee, I want to know who you would award these different superlatives to.
Oh
Cutest couple.
gosh. Cutest couple. Oh God.
And it can be a past couple. If you're not sure who's still together or who's not, it can be any couple through history.
I, I feel like I'll have to stick with like the Brangelina.
Mm. Are they still married?
Have no clue what's going on with them.
Yeah, I have no idea.
How far removed I am from celebrity world.
I really love Ryan Reynolds and Blake Lively.
Yes.
I feel like they're really funny and adorable. I mean, they're gorgeous people.
Well, definitely. But if we even like remove it a little from like couples, but it's
Mhm.
still in a weird way, the Brian Reynolds and Hugh Jackman, like their friendship feud,
Yeah, they're bromance.
their bromance,
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah,
That is one of the best there is out there. Like
I
that's way
agree.
better than any couple there is.
I agree. I agree. So my parents met Hugh Jackman on a plane. When I lived in Colorado, they came to visit, and they were flying back from Denver, and they were sitting right behind Hugh Jackman. And at first, they didn't know. They just kind of noticed that the captain and all these different staff kept going up to whoever
Mm-hmm.
was sitting in front of them. So finally, my dad pulled over one of the flight workers and was like, "Who is that?" She goes, "It's Hugh Jackman."
Mm-hmm.
And so on the way out, they asked him for a picture, and they said he was super nice. They got a picture of him or with him, excuse me. But in the picture, he looks perfect. Like he looks like he's made out
Mm-hmm.
of porcelain. And my
Oh,
mom's like, "Oh, he was so handsome." I'm like, "I bet he was." I,
I'm
I,
so jealous. I love him so much.
yeah, I'm like, what did he? Was he wearing cologne? What did he smell like? Like what?
I'm going out to buy that cologne right now.
Yeah, yeah. Okay. Best dressed.
Hmm. I do not know. I feel like in the most recent anything, it's always Beyonce.
Mm,
Always. Like
mm,
she goes so above and beyond. We have to go.
mm-hmm. Very true. Who would you call the class clown?
what's the is it Chris Rock? The little one.
Kevin Hart.
He's Kevin Hart. Oh my gosh, yeah. What am I thinking? Kevin
Yeah.
Hart, definitely. Because I watched Jumanji the other day and I was like, oh my gosh, thank
Jumanji's
God
so
you were.
good. Yeah. Do you know he's from Philadelphia? He's a
What?
Pennsylvania boy.
I
Hmm.
did not know that.
He's a Pennsylvania boy. So shout out to Kevin Hart from Mrs. Pennsylvania herself.
Yes.
All right. So last one. Since it's an election year, who would is most likely to become president in the future?
Just random celebrities.
Hmm.
Hmm. I don't know. See, I'd still root for Arnold Schwarzenegger. I
Yeah,
mean, we went from Terminator to California uh Senator. I'm like, I'd be okay with that.
that's pretty impressive.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Came over from another country, learned
yeah,
another language, has this super thick accent, still became an actor and a senator. Like, who works up the ranks like that? Is super huge
yeah.
bodybuilder. I
He's
mean, if
pretty.
you're gonna,
Yeah.
you worked for everything you ever.
Yes,
Wow.
that is true. And if you ever watch any documentaries about him, I feel like my husband has kind of forced me to watch some of that. It's actually really interesting. So if you're ever looking for good content, people watch documentaries about Arnold Schwarzenegger. They're
Yeah.
incredible. Um, Sticking with the Jumanji theme, I'm going to vote for Dwayne the Rock Johnson.
Uh, it would be such a good one too.
That would be great. I'd watch every speech, every.
I feel like if he did though, like transition from Jumanji to Baywatch, if
Yeah.
he ran and had his vice president as Zac Efron.
I am here for it. I'm here. Johnson
Exactly.
Efron 2020. I'm there for that. Yep. All right.
Yeah, they'd have my vote hands down.
Yes, yes. Well, on that note, that's a perfect place to conclude this interview. Johnson Efron 2020. Thank you so much for your time, Jessica. Do you have any last thing you want to say before we
No,
go?
thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it. And good
Thank you.
luck
It's been
at
fun.
Mrs. America.
Thanks, thanks. We still don't have a date yet, but the world will
Yep,
know when we do, and there'll be plenty of
exactly.
pictures flying around on that. So,
Oh, yeah.
so thank you again, and I hope you have a good weekend.
You too, dear.